Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Alright, guys. Whoa, we don't need the volume to be all the way up. I hope that didn't destroy your ears. Alright, guys. It is Tuesday. We got a treasury auction today. Decent amount of activity overnight. But when we come and we look at the DOM for the first few minutes, it's pretty tight. So I don't know. I think that we will get some decent action, but it's probably going to be a little bit of stop and go is what it's looking like so far. So that might make it difficult for us to take advantage of the opportunities unless we're going to like really get in early and wait for them. Let's come over to the charts. Here you can see the treasuries. Okay, well, a decent move up. We did beat yesterday's highs, but we're not quite back to the peak of Friday's highs. S&P 500 had a pretty decent rally yesterday, recovering the 5,200 level. Oil still down in the bottom. There was all sorts of craziness yesterday because there was like headlines that a deal had been reached, and then Israel was like, no, that's false, and then went back down, and it was just, or it went back up. It went down and it went back up, and is all over the place. Oil, dangerous place to be right now. Gold and silver, kind of turning over a little bit. I don't know. I mean, hey, they could still pull it out here, but that turn doesn't look very good to me. Kappa, kind of the same thing, but a little bit more peaky here. But the overall chart, copper still looks really, really strong. Japanese yen, still kind of retracing from that intervention that we had last week. The dollar trying to make a recovery, but only getting up to 105. And Bitcoin, well, they kind of pulled Bitcoin out, but they took a little bit of a hit yesterday. Actually, this decline from 6,600 to 6,300 off of a Wells notice in Wells Fargo is actually way more limited than I thought it would be. So, yeah, that's where we're at. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Alan. Good morning, Jake, Octavius, Uzi. All right, guys, always here bright and early. Love to have you. Let's make sure to have the news squawk turned on. Note if there's anything else on the calendar here that I missed. Well, there's Canadian IV PMI. Oh, is it not a 10-year auction today? It's a 3-year auction today. Okay, that actually kind of changes things a lot, doesn't it? Today to 2024-05-06. Not 2025, 2024-05-06. Yes. Three-year auction. The Canadian IV PMI. Geopolitical risk. Okay, so I'm gonna say geopolitical risk slightly less than yesterday. Because what we're hearing now is that the operation in Rafah is, quote, limited in scope. That they went in there and they're coming right back up. So, like, that does not give us a whole lot to work with today, does it? Does not give us a whole lot to work with today. Maybe that's why the flows are so tight. So we are getting a decent uptrend here, and I would say there's a decent amount of volume with it as well. I think that yesterday the flows kind of tilted to the long side and we didn't get it. Today, higher. I don't know. I think still to the long side. But I think you got to be a little bit suspicious of that, you know, because we could come to like that 01 area and flip back around. It's kind of the next spot to watch of sorts. Oh, we have an Apple event today. That is important to note, I guess. Americans are less likely to think they'll hit their retirement goals. Ooh, I was talking about that with my wife last night. We were taking the kids out on to try and get them to fall asleep in the car, which didn't work that well, by the way. I mean, they kind of fell asleep, but not really. Didn't get me to bed earlier. But anyways, they were so pessimistic. I might need to get my family to think more abundantly, guys. Anyways, Attorney for Stormy Daniels says the porn actor is expected to appear as a witness in Trump's hush money trial. Will she testify that Trump gave her a gag order? What is Jim Urio talking about here? Ban. To prohibit or forbid, especially by legal means as by statute or order. Why are you letting them change this? That sounds like the definition of the word to me. Have you cut back on eating out due to higher prices? No. But I don't eat out that much. Brannigan Barrett here thinks that the Bank of Japan will have to intervene again this week because the market will test them unless they raise rates more. That might be true. Oh, wait, what is this? The original. So I saw this yesterday that the original creator of Twitter abandoned their like Blue Sky or whatever it was called. But now I'm also hearing that he endorsed X. Really? Freedom Technology. Okay. Okay, Jack. Jack Dorsey was always kind of a little bit of a weirdo, to be honest with you. I really think that a lot of it is that, like, you have like a neural network in the front of your brain, and like some people's neural network, because of the chemical tendencies and you know, the proteins and stuff that you have, just kind of will tend to wire itself more strictly or more loosely in different people, right? And in a lot of the most leftist entrepreneurial type of people, I feel like that it wires their brains so loosely that their brain falls out, you know? And I kind of feel like that's what happens with Jack Dorsey, is like, he did a great job making Twitter and all of that, but like, it feels like everything that he does and says since then is just dumb. You know what was getting me going yesterday? Have you seen this TED Talk by, I forget his first name, but Galloway? You've probably seen this guy on TikTok and all over the place. He's a common guest. He's brought up. The sad thing about him is that he seems to understand where the problems are pretty well. Scott Galloway. That's right. Scott Galloway. I think that he understands where a lot of the problems are really, really well. The problem is that his solutions to those problems are stupid. Not just like stupid, like, oh, that's never going to work. Stupid, like, that is like the most unpopular thing I think you could ever possibly propose. I mean, I think he kind of says that, like, these will be hard things and this and that, but it's just like, your proposal is so dumb, there's no point in you even talking. So, like, he says that Social Security should not be available to everybody. Like, you should only be able to pull out of Social Security if you need it. So people that have paid into Social Security all their life as like a replacement for a pension fund are supposed to just lose their Social Security. Like, I can't believe he didn't get booed off stage. If it was anywhere other, if it was like at a political conference, you know, they would boo him off the stage. Republicans and Democrats both. It's just like such an awful, awful idea. Such an awful idea. I'm getting political early today. Let me tell you something. The thing that drives me crazy in politics right now is that the left is so good at seeing where many of the problems in our society is, and they are in denial about the part that they have played in making it that way. They refuse to acknowledge that the policies that Barack Obama put in place and the policies, because they've mostly been in charge for the last 20 years, okay, that it's their policies that are making it this way. Like, it just, like, boggles my mind that we come in and they can see, oh, like, young people can't buy houses. You know what we should do about that? We should build more houses. And we should provide incentives for home builders to build more houses. Is that just, am I the only one that sees that? Like, it seems so simple, and yet they all miss it. None of them are proposing anything to help build more houses. It's just, it drives me crazy. How do you find EdgeClear as a futures broker? What are the margins and commissions, etc.? Okay, well, so EdgeClear is a little bit more, what do we say, strict or safe than other brokers. So, like, the margin requirements that you have are a little bit more, and, like, you have to have a larger account and so forth. Like, I don't think you can start an account there unless you have a minimum $1,500 to start or something like that. Still not sure simply building more houses is a solution, especially when massive funds and rental factories are America's home buyer competition. Well, but the only reason why they are competing with regular homeowners is because the price of the houses is set to go up so much from a lack of supply, right? If you start flooding the market with houses, all of a sudden it becomes a terrible investment, at least for, maybe not for a homeowner, but it becomes a terrible investment for a large corporation, and they would stop buying all of the houses, if not start dumping the ones that they have. My dogs are fighting. I think they're okay. So this is, you know, you will see this in any market, right? It's like oil is going up, and then all of these people will come out and be like, it's the darn speculators that have no business buying this that are buying it up and making oil so expensive. Well, okay, they are there and they are buying it up and they are making it more expensive, but only because oil was set up to go up anyways. And they're just kind of jumping on the pile, right? But if you're building so many houses that it's not this huge lucrative investment opportunity for them, right? Like, think about why weren't they buying houses like mad like 30, 40 years ago? Because back then there was enough supply in the housing market that it didn't make economic sense for them to do it. Now the problem is, how do you build more houses, right? What is it that has changed in the market since 2008 that has prevented home builders from being able to really build homes? Quite literally look at a chart of housing prices historically in 07-08 when the housing market collapsed because of the large influx of homes being dumped onto the market. Yeah. So what were we talking about? Edgeclear. So there, you know, like the margins are safer than other brokers, but like you shouldn't be trading the size that other brokers would allow you to anyways. So like that particular point doesn't really matter. Commissions, the commissions are going to be a little bit more than like say AMP. Okay. I would say that they're still pretty good and competitive, but they're not as good as the discount brokers. And in exchange, you get much better support. If you have a problem with your account or any kind of weird stuff going on, the people that you're talking to on the other end really know what's going on. Whereas at some of the discount brokers, I have found that is not the case at all. That I know way more about it than the person that's providing support. And if I'm having a problem, right? If I'm having a problem, then that person that, you know, then the person on the other end really needs to know what they're talking about, right? So, I don't know. When I was with Ninja Trader Brokerage, I thought about almost every day about changing. Although I think that the main thing that I didn't like about Ninja Trader Brokerage was the data, and I missed Rhythmic, I think was the big thing. But now that I'm on EdgeClear, I never think about it. I talk to them. They'll email me like every 6 weeks or 6 months, and we'll like catch up. But yeah, so I've been really happy with them. So that's the thing. I mean, if all you care about is cheapest commissions, just go to AMP. But for all the people that they feel like that they don't like AMP, then you go over to EdgeClear. You're gonna send something over due to an issue of account funding? Really? I don't know about that. But that's where I come back to, like, the big thing is that the minimum account size is significantly larger over at EdgeClear. So, like, you can trade micro treasuries, but like if you're gonna trade ES, if you're gonna trade a full ES contract, they're probably gonna require you to have like 5,000 in your account, or to start at least minimum account size before they open that instrument to you. I'm reading some stuff on Twitter that suggests to me that the Stormy Daniels being called to testify is like a big surprise. And apparently Donald Trump is upset that his lawyers haven't had more time to prepare for it. Israeli government spokesman negotiators will leave for Cairo shortly. Hezbollah announces in a new statement that it targeted Israeli soldiers in the Ramat Naftali barracks with a guided missile. U.S. remains engaged with partners to work out. Biden is trying really, really hard and pulling all sorts of shenanigans to try and get a deal, instead of just letting Israel level Rafah. I don't understand why you don't let Israel level Rafah and then broker a peace deal, but whatever. Whatever. Oh, so remember a few weeks ago that Futures Trader 71 was stopping his live stream, and we're like, oh, what's with that? That's kind of weird. Okay, whatever. Now I see what it is. It's because they have convergent trading and they have a podcast, and he wants all of the traffic to go over there. I see what's going on here. Mm-hmm. Oh, I missed Andre's comment here. They've also had a loot of incentives before 2008 to build houses as credits were given out like warm bread. Well, that is true to some extent. I kind of wonder, like, okay, so during the period after the Great Depression, they built a lot of houses, and that was kind of like government subsidized to some extent, right? Like it was a part of the New Deal or whatever. And then in the early 2000s, they built a lot of houses because Congress had made all of those laws to really incentivize homeownership. So is it the case that you just can't keep up with the supply without some sort of a government subsidy to it? Well, that doesn't really make a whole lot, well, I'm not going to say that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I would hope not, right? I guess there are some things where the supply and demand for it results in unreasonable prices, and ergo it like never becomes a thing, and it's unfortunate, and that's just kind of the way that it goes. And could say that houses are like that you just have to get like greater improvements in building houses. I don't know. What do you think about funding firms like Apex and so forth? Well, so for the most part, they are services that do what they claim to do. There was some stuff with like you would get funded and it wasn't a real account and they were kind of lying to you. But I think that they've kind of sorted those out. I think that there's still some that it's still a SIM account, but it's much more clear that it is. So whatever. But I personally, I feel that they're just completely unnecessary. The combines were created. I call them combines. I don't know why. I guess because the top step trader was called a combine. But nobody else can call it a combine because they like the trading combine. They like trademarked it or something. But they were created when people wanted to trade ES, and in order to realistically trade ES, you probably wanted $5,000 in your account and whatnot. And so for most people, getting funded was like the only way that you were ever going to trade. But now that we have micro futures, especially micro treasury yield futures, I really don't see any reason to use those services. I see, a lot of degenerate gamblers playing these combines, and it's become a really popular thing, and I guess it brings more people into the future space, but I really don't see a reason to use them whatsoever. Unless you're doing something super risky that you would never want to risk your own money on, right? But they're not like a scam or anything. Like if you get funded, they do give you an account and they do pay out and all that sort of thing. I don't think it's a good deal, but it's not a scam. Let's see here. This time the crisis was right in the housing market and in the banking sector. Honestly, I still wonder if it would have been better to let the banks flush down instead of jumping to help. Oh, I think that if you had allowed the banks to fail, it probably would have decimated the United States financial system, and it would have taken a really, really, really long time for us to recover. So I don't think that that would have been a good idea. But like the whole thing is that after that, they imposed all of these rules. And it seems to me that there are some of these rule changes make it more difficult to finance building homes, especially in areas where you have to wait years to even get permits and all of this sort of crazy stuff, right? So they all can sound predatory. I never use one myself. I always trade my own money, but who knows? I do feel that they're predatory. Absolutely. Like the thing that really soured me on the combines, because kind of the way that it started was when I first started trading, I was doing a combine because that was the only realistic way to do it. Then I figured out, oh, you know, I could trade treasuries for as little as $500 account, which was only like, you know, 3 or 4 combines. And that was a much better deal. And I could just trade it sim if I wasn't comfortable trading it yet. And then we got micro ES, so I traded micro ES for a little while, and then we got micro treasury yield futures, and so I've been trading those. But the thing that really soured me on it was when they started offering all of these incentives for account resets. So like you buy it, but you can like reset the account for $50 or something like that. That's when I realized that it was like, oh wow, like a lot of these guys really don't care about you as traders. Their goal is really not to get as many traders funded as possible. Their goal is to get as many traders spending money on combines as possible. And it's funny because now you get this thing where like traders will go and they'll start multiple combines and run different strategies on each of them, and that way like one of them is extremely likely to get them funded, and then they trade that funded one. So they're like doing a really, really good job at convincing people to pay for combines, right? And then, well, one of the combines, the creators of one of the combines was convicted for cheating on a binary options exchange. And yeah, I was like, I no longer will do affiliate links, etc., for combines. If I was still trading ES and promoting combines, I bet you that my YouTube channel would be more popular. Because I've seen many similar kind of channels do really, really well with the combines. And if you're making affiliate money from combines, you know, like that's a decent amount of money. I don't think that I would make as much money from my day job, but you know, probably could make enough money off of that to make a living, you know. And if making a living can provide like better content for you guys and help you guys, then perhaps it's worth it. But I said no, because I don't believe in what they're selling, so I will not do affiliate links for combines. Funded trader programs. If you wanted free views, the title. Oh, that's absolutely. If I made a click, that's the other thing that I refuse to do, is to make a clickbaity thumbnail that suggests that you're going to make money. That to me, that in my opinion is fraud. When these guys, they go and they put these, you know, like every day they say I made $1,000, $2,000 or whatever the deal is. Okay. If that's not what your average viewer gets, or you like blow it and, you know, are restarting every year and not actually making money, right? Then putting that in your thumbnail, in my opinion, is fraud. That's like the FTC should come in and fine you, yada, yada, yada. Same with the other one. So those are kind of like the three things where people have come to me and wanted to do partnerships with the channel, like interviews, collaborations, etc., etc. Those are the three things: is the combines, clickbaity thumbnails, and the third one would be testimonials that make performance claims. So like if you have a website, right, you're selling a course or an indicator package or whatever it is, and then you have all of these testimonials, and the testimonials are like, I made $5,000 from doing this and yada, yada, yada. That's fraud. Because if your average, if most of your customers are not making that, then promoting that is kind of implying that those are the typical results. And if those aren't typical results, it's fraud. That's what Warrior Trading got hit for, right? So I've seen some guys that they seem like, okay, guys, I want nothing to do with it because they're flaunting those rules, right? I heard they put you on sim account too. So I think it was Apex, but I can't remember who it was. But there was one combine in particular that when you passed the combine, they did not give you a real account. And the way everything that they, you know, they kind of have everything worded carefully to protect their butt legally, but basically everybody thought that they were going to get live accounts and they didn't. So that one is kind of like a enduring sore spot for some people, I guess. But I think that they, you know, since changed their ways, and I don't think that any of the combines now are doing that, but I could be wrong. I guess I don't particularly care because I don't do them. You know, it's funny whenever this subject comes up. It doesn't come up every day. It used to be something that would come up every day, but it always lights chat up. Chat always has something to say when we're talking about the combines. They're gonna continue moving up here, it looks like, huh? So I was right to be concerned about, are they actually gonna plow through O2? But it looks like they've gotten through it, and you're getting accelerating volume. In fact, Japanese yen is moving along with it too. Not only fraud, perhaps, but it will start to attract the very wrong crowd around you and your channel, and you talk a lot about one. Yeah, that's 100% it, Paul, for sure. Is that, like, one of the things was we used to multi-stream to Twitch, and ultimately I decided that I didn't get enough from multi-streaming to Twitch to justify the delay. Now I could probably do it and not have the extra delay because there's OBS plugins that allows me to, instead of doing it through multi-stream, restream.io, I can just send it directly. And the Twitter, you know, they actually could both be pretty fast. But the crowd that I would get from Twitch was just not the crowd that I was looking for. I'm looking for serious traders that understand the challenge that we're up against and take a very sophisticated, nuanced approach to the problem because they love it. And I'm not interested in every Trader Joe out there that just wants to become a millionaire. They banned me on a Discord server for asking for payout proofs? Really? Well, that's kind of weird, but I'm also surprised that people would be hesitant, you know, wouldn't be able to show you that they did get payouts. Because people definitely get payouts. In fact, there are some people that learned to kind of game those systems and got insane amounts of payouts. Hearing something from a Fed speaker? Nothing significant yet, though. Should minimize that, too, by the way, so we can keep an eye on the micros. It's fun how Top Step was the only one that was really known until 4 years ago. Was it 4 years ago? No, I could say it was further back than that. Maybe 5 or 6 years ago. But yes, especially after the pandemic, it really, really boomed. It's kind of telling. You have to wonder, how many subscribers a month do they get? I think these guys get a lot of subs. Because, you know, they're paying well, so let's see. If you pay $150 a month roughly times 12 months a year, so you're making $18,000 or $1,800 per average subscriber, right? And then let's say that over the course of the year you had 10,000 of these roughly that were paying every month. $18 million. And then you have maybe you have a dozen employees. Yeah. That's big profits, guys. $33 for a 50K? No way, really? Disney earnings this morning? I thought that was later today. I want to see, because I tell you what, the Disney stock in particular. No, that's okay. I don't need that product. Trading View. I appreciate it. I love you. I've seen you for a long time, used you for a long time, but I don't need your extra features. Looks like they were up on Monday. Dude. Okay, so yeah, Disney has fallen pretty far from where they were in 2020, but then a pretty decent gain in the tail end of 2023 for a company that had like 4 of the worst box office bombs ever last year. That's just like crazy to me. I think that a lot of this move up though was because of the proxy fight. And so I think that air may eventually come out. Oh, I have earnings not till October. No. I have earnings today. Oh, wait. So let's come into the 5 minutes and see if it's... Oh, ouch. Wow. They got hammered, actually, on the earnings overnight. Just couldn't see it on the daily chart yet. Wow. Okay. There is still justice in this world. You say nobody. Okay, let's go to Apex. Apex funding, is that what they're called? Yeah, leave. Apex Trader Funding, ATF. Products. Oh, you can do rhythmic. Okay, what's their smallest rhythmic? 147 every month. So the smallest combine is still about 150. But maybe with the right deal and stuff, you can get it down. Well, yeah, there's definitely always discounts. There's definitely always discounts. Man, these guys have really changed their website. The YouTubers, they push an 80% discount? Really? Oh my gosh, that's crazy. But with an 80% discount, how much of a commission are they getting? I kind of wonder. You know, like, so in my mind, because we've had a lot of success with the YouTube channel, and obviously doesn't make enough to live on. But the amount that it does make, I'm always a little bit surprised. I'm always a little bit like, wow. If you know, I had 100,000 subscribers, there would be insane amounts of money that you'd be making from a YouTube channel, right? I would be okay with making money, like making a living just from the YouTube channel, but not with the way that I see a lot of these guys doing it, where like they're only making money from really making money from the combines. Like I'm okay from making money commissions off of the software. It's like, it's a software that I use, and if I help somebody else find that software and they enjoy it, and it's a product that they use and it does what they want it to do, then that's great. You're helping people and you're making money at the same time, right? But you know, I think my path is maybe more, I go and I start a fund. I'm still thinking a lot about, can I go and start a fund? I'm concerned that like there's the kind of the rules on advertising, and that to do a private placement that I wouldn't be able to advertise it or to even tell you guys about it on my YouTube channel. I don't know. I don't know, but that's kind of the direction I want. Some people even buy 20 coins. This is so dumb, man. With the trade copier. Yeah, that's the other thing, is like, why bother buying so many accounts if you're just going to use a trade copier? Like, wouldn't it make more sense to just buy the larger combines? Like, why would you buy 20 of the base level ones? Okay, you could do 20 of the top level ones, but like the top level ones are like $300 to $500, so I don't think you're doing that. So like, it doesn't make any sense at all. And I almost wonder if it's not some sort of like a swift boating, you know, like a psyop to convince clueless people into buying more combines. Like they would have somebody, they would tell somebody to go and make that claim, and that they were doing that and that they made money from it, so that other people would get the idea to do it, even though it doesn't make sense at all to do it that way. You can request a bigger payout in percentage terms. Okay, so you're telling me that the larger combines do not give you enough leverage to come. So like, they only give you 2,500 drawdown on the larger accounts? Are you for real? No, wait, okay, let's go back. That's funny that they've embraced that their acronym is ATF. Okay. So if I do a 300k rhythmic versus a 25k rhythmic. Okay. So a 300k allows you to do 35 contracts, and it's for 657. And this one allows you 4 contracts for 147. Okay, so let's pull out our calculator. 657 divided by 147 is, so it's 4.46 times larger. So 4 times 4.46 is 17 contracts. But this one allows you to trade 35 contracts. So how does that work? It sounds to me like if you were trying to get maximum leverage, that it would make more sense to do the full-size rhythmic. You have a monthly limit for payouts. Okay, so now this, you were correct about the threshold, right? Because here, your trailing threshold is 1,500.
blocks out.
1,500 times 4.46 should be 6,690. Oh, actually, no, I'm wrong. 7,500 is still good. So you're even better on the trailing threshold. So now you're saying that even if you get the big account, there's a limit on how much you can get paid? I don't know. You're not convincing me that you get more bang for your buck with the lower ones. I'm not seeing it. Now, if you're getting a discount on them, maybe that's different. Maybe with the discount. Because my thinking is the reason why I would want to do multiple combines is like I can set one combine to only go long every day and another combine to only go short every day, and then one of those two will pass. Or, you know, that would be like way overly simplified because you'd probably hit the drawdowns doing that, but something of that effect where you trade two strategies that oppose each other and one of them is guaranteed to pass. And then once you have the account, then you switch over to a less aggressive strategy, essentially. The drawdown to take profit ratio is what people look at, but isn't it the same? So here, this one, oops, over here. 20K, 20,000 divided by 7,500 is a ratio of 2.66. And then if we come over here, the goal is 1,500. 1,500. Is one. Okay. But you would still make more money doing the larger one. I guess basically what they've done here is they've made it so that the full size account is more difficult to pass. You will make more money if you pass the big one, but it is harder to pass because you have to make more money. You have to make $20,000. That's not easy. So here's the other one, okay, that I don't get. Okay, so you go in and you have all of these combines and you trade them and you make like $20, $30, $50,000, okay? Why would you continue to do the combines at that point? Because wouldn't you get more leverage with, you know, wouldn't you get more leverage trading your own account? I don't know. Maybe you'd have to do some math and factor in the you know, their share of it and things like that. But it just doesn't make sense why you wouldn't switch over to trading your own account. Frankly, even if it was less leverage, I would still prefer to trade my own account and have freedom on how I'm going to trade. Like, to be able to swing trade, for instance. Kashkari Housing Resilience raises questions about neutral rate. Activation fee is larger. They kind of peaked and came back to that 04.5. Was a little bit, how do I say? Well, the trend up was 19 ticks, so that's one thing. It was a decent trend, but it was a little slippery. It was a little impulsive. because risking your own money is scary. I guess. But like, you can come in and you can just risk tiny amounts if you know. I think it's scary. I'd come in and I just risk tiny amounts. Then the other thing is you have to pay the professional fee too. Yeah, see, no, okay, there you go. Risking your money is scary. Paying a ton of money to risk other people's money is okay, though. No, like, risking my own money is like, okay, like it's my money. It's money that I'm willing to lose completely. It's fine. Losing other people's money, that's terrifying to me. Like my nightmare is I start a hedge fund and you know, the strategy was going really, really great. And then as soon as the fund starts, it does dismally and you lose money. And it's other people's money. That's my nightmare. Right? Like, pay $30 a month for a sim account. Yeah. Well, I actually do trade it. I don't trade it nearly as much as I do though, right? Or as I used to. I've become probably overly selective as of late. I mean, I don't see myself taking a trade today. I'm surprised that we got as much uptrend as we did. Well, it was like 625. It was a 625 pay. Can't imagine paying that every month to try that combine over and over and over again. Whatever. There's not a whole lot going on today, guys. It's kind of weird to see the treasuries move the way they did. Like, it's not unusual on a no news Tuesday to see a good trend, but it tends to be more of like that slow moving freight train, and this one was kind of impulsive. I don't understand what you're getting about with that last comment. I understand the retail trading space is filled with retards, but I can't imagine you could get enough of them to offset the staggering losses they'd invariably occur on huge trading accounts. Well, but they do, the drawdown is so strict that... So, like, here's the thing. If you go and you do a Monte Carlo simulation on it, you're going to get something like 20 to 30% people will pass. Okay. So like, if you look at it, so 20% pass, that means that for every one person that succeeds, there's 4 people that failed, right? So if they each paid $500, just off of random chance, I guess you wouldn't make money. But probably it's more like 10. It's probably like for everyone that passes, 10 fail. 10 or 20 fail. And then the math would work out too. Even if everybody that got funded immediately bombed out, you would still make money. Yeah. Again, the thing that really turned me off to that whole thing was when they started offering the resets. You know what else turns me off, and I'm always like a little bit cautious about the way that I present this, but like paid chat. Like I totally get like you offer a certain service. I think that if you're paying monthly for a service, it better be pretty good service. Like I'll pay $100 a month for a news squawk. But some of the services that I see people pushing out there, like two of the people that I thought were kind of like the most respected, both Brannigan Barrett and Futures Trader 71, they're both basically running paid chat room services now. That's a huge turnoff to me, especially for the convergent where it's like, well, what they provide, I give you guys for free. Like, yes, now it's actually live, supposedly. I already said that. This is what I'm saying. It's like so funny whenever we bring up the combines. There's tons of comments about it. For the $30,000 account here, it was. Oh, I closed it? Yeah, it was like $675. Yeah. And the drawdown was like 7,500. So you'd have to have a lot of people fill that to make up the $7,000. But I kind of feel like that if you really were able, well, I don't know. I think that a lot of these combines and everything are they're taking on risk essentially. And so because you have such a tight trailing drawdown, I think that they probably do make decent amounts of money on the people. The way I trade ZN, it's legitimately hard to lose $675 a month. Well, yeah, but are you going to trade 35 contracts? That's the cost for the combine. That's not the drawdown is 7,500. Yeah, I think it's a waste of time. I do. I think that the problem is that the combines encourage you to trade with risk parameters that are kind of unrealistic. Like a $1,500 target and a $1,500 drawdown. You're essentially asking somebody to double the account size. Like they say that it's a 50,000, but when you really consider the drawdown on it, it's really like you could trade the same on your own money with just $1,500, right? So they're basically it would be the same as you put $1,500 into Edge Clear and then trade it and double the account would be what you have to do to pass the combine. Like double, 100% gain in a month. Like 100% gain in a year would be great. 100% gain in a month. Yeah, you have to be doing degenerate things to hit those. And everybody treats the combine as the golden standard of what we should be shooting for in terms of performances, because they say, well, it's good to start out with these because they give you rules and they teach you risk management. No, they don't. They teach you to do degenerate risk management. They teach you to be way over leveraged. What do you think? Okay, so you're talking about SMB Capital when you say more professional prop firms. But I don't really know a whole lot about SMB Capital. I think the larger thing that I see is that futures trading is extremely difficult. Right? Most people aren't successful with it. So I think you kind of have to change your approaches, right? If you're doing futures trading, like the best thing to do would be to trade a momentum strategy. It requires more money, but that's where the money is being made in futures trading. If you're trading stocks, it's maybe a little bit of a different game. But I don't think that there's any place you can go where, like, you know, you're going to learn and you're going to have a very high probability of success in trading because you were a part of this prop firm or you got this education from this one place or anything like that. Not saying that SMB is not legit or anything like that, but I don't really know a whole lot about them. I'm just saying that I think that people get interested in places like SMB because they think that it's like a solution to their problems, and it's not. Because the real problem is the nature of the market itself and the competition that you're up against. Tell you what, we sure did rest here at 04. Peloton shares surge on private equity firm buyout report. Oh my gosh, you know what? Having Peloton taken the stock, taken out of the stock market, that would actually be great, in my opinion. They used pretty pure technical analysis. Well, yeah, but isn't that just momentum trading? I don't know. I tell you what, like, so here's my thing, is people putting a 1 minute or a 5 minute chart up and then trading off of that, I'm very skeptical that they're making money. But you put up a daily chart and you identify which assets are breaking out that day, and then you go and you trade, then you go and you scalp those, that's a winning strategy. Don't think you can really do it on futures, but you could do it on stocks, yeah. Oh yeah, doozy, totally. If you have $675 a month and you spend it on a combine, because that's like $7,000 a year that you're just gonna save up, and yeah, that compounds fast. That compound, especially if you're investing it in, you know, individual companies, and you know that one is like worst case scenario, you underperform the market a little bit, and best case scenario, you outperform the market by several orders of magnitude. No. I mean, I have videos on combines. That was kind of one of the main things that initially brought my YouTube channel success. What else would I post about? I guess it doesn't really interest me anymore. I was thinking the next video that I want to make is, are index funds evil? That's the next one that I want to make. And then what was the other one that I was thinking about doing? I don't remember anymore. I had another one that I hadn't put down in my notes yet. One of my thoughts was to make, oh, you know what? I can get rid of all this. We put the momentum video out. Are index funds evil? I also was gonna make individual videos for all of the indicators. That would be nice because people ask about it, and it's like there's one video that's like super big, but like what if there was a video for each indicator and it was embedded in the detailed documentation? That would be great, I think. A little bit of a fracture on the downside here. It's just by a tick so far, but that's worth keeping an eye on. I don't know. I had some idea for a video that I think was like mistakes that retail traders make or something like that. Anyways, that's the plan. The plan is to focus on the transcription robots and kind of passively write our index funds even. You think you're looking for a second leg higher? Well, I think that makes sense, but the sellers are making a little bit more progress than I anticipated, especially when you look at cumulative delta. Like, most of the cumulative delta in the 10-year has especially that 5K iceberg there. I'm getting flattening too. It's kind of the opposite of which way I would be thinking it's going. I don't know. For some reason, I keep opening up a new tab and going like, oh, let's see if there's anything new on Zero Hedge. And of course, there's no changes. So I see this thing, it's like facepalm, and it says, Gen Z woman demands millennials stop saying these out-of-date slang words. If you use these, you're officially old. I think it's so funny how the kids think that we're supposed to care about that crap. What is it that Zendaya says in Dune? This is how they enslave us. Come on, guys. Okay, I don't know why. I should keep talking about combines, shouldn't I? That will keep chat going. That'll get the. I don't think it's actually bringing us more viewers, but it is getting you guys pretty engaged. Yeah, no, we're about average. You know what I've been thinking about this week, though? Feminism. Oh no, he's gonna talk about feminism. Time to close. We'll see. I'll come back and I'll look at the graph here and we'll see. Like, as soon as I said feminism, it's like viewers goes down. No, so like, I think this is another one of those cases where it kind of drives me crazy, where like people can kind of see the problem. But like they can't seem to see that the things that they've been promoting for the last 20 years are why it's that way. And they're not actually addressing the real problems. So like when it comes to feminism, there is a real problem. There is a real problem, folks. The real problem is that if you're a woman and you pursue the traditional lifestyle, and then your husband decides to divorce you, or your husband dies or something like that, you're screwed. That's not okay. That's a real problem. And a lot of women said, hey, because they saw what happened to their moms, you know, because a lot of baby boomers got divorced and so forth, right? They're like, that's not going to be me. And so they embraced feminism, right? Why is it? Okay, so if that's a problem, why is the solution, well, so everybody needs to work? Do you ever stop and think for a second, should it really be that, like, if you come out of school and then you become a stay-at-home mom, and then 10 years later, you want to enter into the workforce, there's no place for you in the workplace. Think about that one for a second, right? I think the problem is a system that demands complete obeisance, or how do you say that word? Like obedience. They require complete obedience. It's like if you stray from the tight path whatsoever, you're punished somewhat for it. And it's not just like, okay, like, you know, you can't go and steal and break the law or any of those sorts of things. That's going to hurt your job prospects. No. It's like if you haven't dedicated your life, given complete fealty to your corporate overlords for the past 10 years, then we don't want to hire you. It's so stupid. One of the things that Goldman Sachs did when I worked for them is they had a returnship program, which was like, these were women, they graduated from school, like they have good qualifications, but then they left the workforce to become mothers, and now all of their kids are gone and they have time. And so then they have a returnship program for these women to get back into the workforce and gain the experience that they would need to be able to get hired at other jobs. That's cool. That's the sort of thing that we should have. Jobs that have more flexible working hours so that, you know, moms can do the work while the kids are at school. And then when school is out, they come back. They're not working anymore. I kind of feel like we can do that. Like their companies could accommodate people that want to work less, but they don't want to. They only want people that are willing to give their whole life to the company. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And that's why we have feminism. Chew on that one for a bit. And I've been thinking about it all week, and it just kind of like, you know, makes me mad. You know, like, it's a problem for me. Like, what if I died? What if I died? My wife's a flight attendant. Flight attendants get treated like crap. Flight attendants make crap. They have this thing where, like, oh, you know what? There's inflation and all of this sort of stuff. So we need to give the flight attendants a pay raise. So you know what they did? They gave all of the pay raise to the new people, and like no pay raise to the people that have seniority. Ugh. Hurts thinking about it. Oh, here we go. Here's something for me to rant about. r/fluent in finance. I need someone to explain to me why it's always if you can't pay rent, buy fewer lattes and avocado toasts, and not if you can't pay your employees a living wage, buy fewer yachts, rockets, and spacecraft. Well, I'll explain it to you, Andrea. The amount that workers get paid is a function of supply and demand. Sometimes the supply for a certain skill is so high that the market rate for that job is not a living wage. And so you can either A, accept not, you know, some people accept not having a living wage, or B, not have that job in society. Which would be like a lot of things, right? No more fast food, etc., etc., etc. So like if you if you have oversupply of something and then you still pay for it, then you pay too much for it than what the market rate should be based on the supply and demand, then it just creates an imbalance in the market, and it creates shortages elsewhere in the the economy. So it has negative consequences. Like when you come in and you're like, well, okay, like they could afford it. That's for sure. For sure, they probably could afford it to pay more. But what you get paid is dependent on supply and demand. Should I type that? Oh, there's 700 comments in there. It's probably not bothering with. 10 hours ago. The Europeans already got to it. Hey, hello, Cristofaro. Good morning from Italy. Hey, we had a guy last week from Italy with a different name. But, welcome to the stream. That must mean that things are going better in Italy. Because it's been a long, that was the first time that I had heard somebody from Italy, and now we've had two. Nintendo confirms it will announce a Switch successor console within this fiscal year. I'm excited. Maybe I'm excited. I don't know. What do you think that they would do? Because I was a little bit underwhelmed with the... Actually, that was kind of an interesting thing. It's like, I kind of thought that the Switch was underwhelming, but it actually has turned out to be one of their best consoles. That is a decent amount of volume trading at 30-30 half. This is starting to look to me like an opposing meta order. So like there's this thing where like, okay, you buy a ton and then another meta order comes in and sells a ton, you usually end up lower than before. But if at the top an opposing meta order comes in and the first meta order isn't done, then they just kind of clash, which is actually kind of like a good situation for both of those people because it blunts their impact on price. Seems like that might be what's going on at the moment, though. Today, 10-year TN, it's like yesterday. It is a lot like yesterday. We had a move. We had a little bit of a momentum move that kind of popped up out of nowhere. I don't know why it moved up. The only difference is yesterday was a sell. Egypt's Al Qahira News TV citing high-ranking source Cairo hosts delegation from Qatar, U.S., Hamas in order to reach a comprehensive truce in Gaza. I doubt it. He has had 4 trend days in a row. Whoever bought on me first and is still holding is going good. Let's see here. Let me see here for a second. Hold on. Yeah, okay, hold on a second. I'll show you here. I have to, like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put like, no, that's not right. Yeah, bigger. Yeah, there we go. I have to like, I'm gonna blank out all the numbers and like, okay, double check here now. Okay, I think that's okay. Let's check it out. Okay, it wasn't May 1st, but I bought in like my IRA contribution for the year on April 26th. Can you see that? When was that? Let's come back and look at the... So you can see that, right? April 26th. Okay. I bought large cap growth index fund. Okay. Let's go and look at a chart. April 26th, right here. That's where I bought. Huh? Is that not bad? Wait, let's look at it from a daily bars. Let's look at a daily bar. Okay. April 26th. Yes, right here. I bought right here. Right here. Buy. So now the market has to turn around and, like, you know, fail to make new highs and just completely bust and go down to the 200-day moving average, right? But if it goes to new all-time highs, I'm a genius. That means that my IRA will have outperformed the index 2 years in a row now. Can you predict flow, like medium-term flows? Yes, you can. Because the setup for this was very, very simple. I knew we were going into a seasonally weak time of year. We were going into a time where the buybacks had kind of disappeared, and where some of the economic news was likely to hurt us, right? And then, gosh, dang it. It's okay. There weren't actually any important numbers on there, but like it stars out some of the account, but I still wanted to be extra careful. So now I was only kind of sort of careful. Wait, now I have to double check here. Oh wait, did I just closed it? That's funny. I didn't minimize it. I just closed it. Oh well, whatever. It was like a full distribution. I didn't want you to see that I was rich. I'm sorry. Now you know. Ugh. I need to put more in the other account though, because the other account is kind of like underinvested, to be honest with you. Still not quite sure what I'd want to put in it. I think I kind of missed the opportunity in oil. I think I want some more in rare earth elements, but maybe I want to spread myself out a little bit more on that. Anyways, you distracted me. Yes, can you predict the short-term flows? Yes. And a lot of it just had to do with buybacks. It could go lower today. I mean, it could go lower this year. But, you know, of the last 2 or 3 months, yeah, it's a good position. Your long melange. If melange was the thing, I'd totally be long. Or do you mean oil? Your long oil? When you think about Dune, it really was like the guy that wrote it had just the perfect amounts of smart and crazy. You know what I mean? Because, like, you kind of have to be a little crazy to come up with some of that stuff. But he was smart. He understood how the world worked. And I think that he made a book that is very much the world that we deal with. Like, it's supposed... So, like, when you think about stories, okay, Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is basically like post World War One. Wasn't he in World War One? I think it was, right? And Frank Herbert was more post World War Two. And I would argue that we're still in the post World War II era, shifting into a new era afterwards, though. What will be the story for the new era hasn't been written yet. You're long and sleeping at your computer? It's curious to me that you guys all want to go long on this today. It's just kind of... I feel like as of late... So, it used to be... Sometimes you guys would take trades and, like, the direction would surprise me and be like, why would you be taking that? Or what? You know, and it would work out and be, like, surprised. But now it kind of feels like... you know... Like, how can you look at that chart and think, well, the trend is anything but up? So I'm going to take a long. It seems too simple to me. Cumulative delta in the 10-year came all the way back, by the way, too. So that's kind of why I'm sitting on my hands. I'm not curious as far as I can tell. I missed the trade of the day. Yeah, that's more like it. Yeah. Oh, I misread it. You're long sleeping at my computer. So you don't have a position on them. I thought that you said that you're long and sleeping at your computer. Now we're kind of more on the same page. Because that's the way I'm thinking. It's like, I missed the trade of the day and I'm not sure that there's any good opportunity left. Yeah. I still want to brag more about how I made my one big IRA contribution for the year on April 26th, and it's been going pretty good since then. Looks like a pretty good position. I think you're sleeping driving around in the car. No, my wife was driving. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I drove last night. Dude, so you know what I do is I go up there, like, okay, let's go and try and find the most interesting houses. So this time, I kind of went to the areas, like, really kind of almost in the forest kind of stuff, like really high up on the mountain. And but man, there's so many big houses up there, man. It's crazy. And you do kind of have to wonder, like, how do people afford those houses? Like, you know what? I always feel a little bit wrong. Like, you're not supposed to brag about it. I should be narcissistic. I should act like a narcissist and just brag about how much money I make and these sorts of things all the time, because that seems to be what works online. But I don't like talking about that. I've always been taught, to be modest. Like, don't wear super expensive clothes that it's obvious to everybody that that's super expensive, because that creates envy and problems with people. You don't want to do that. Okay, but I make more than probably 90% of Americans. Of course, you kind of have to adjust it for like where you live and everything. Okay, but I make more than 90% of Americans. I couldn't afford those houses. Those crazy houses. Like, what are the people doing to have some of these crazy houses up there? And there's so many of them. It's just like neighborhoods that go on and on. It's so crazy. I think that some of them, you just, like, you accumulate money over a really, really long time. I don't know. They own all the prop firms. Maybe that's it. It's got to be like sales or something, like you just get that one big payout. Or maybe it is just business owners. But like the thing is that once you start building up assets, it adds up so quickly. So I was like trying to I was trying to explain that to my wife, because she's just like she's not in the abundance mindset for whatever reason. I think she's maybe a little depressed. I think that being stuck at coop. I'm frustrated because, like, she's with the kids all day, and that is like really, really exhausting, because she has to focus so much attention so that they don't like kill each other. And so it's like, okay, well, here are these opportunities to go out and make friends or whatever. She's not interested in any of that sort of stuff. So I'm like, okay, stay home. Whatever. If you enjoy being home, that's fine. But I was trying to convince her, that it adds up. So, like, I was like, okay, so, like, if you put this much away and you do that and it compounds over X number of years, like, how much money is it? And, and it, like, came out to be like $100,000 or something like that. And it was like, well, but that's not, I don't think that's enough for you to be able to own one of those homes. Probably not. My wife and I are both like that. Maybe. But like this, like it's, I don't know, man. I kind of feel like I got things figured out, like that's the issue. Obviously, I'm a weird person. What works for me doesn't work for everybody else. I don't know everything, but I am pretty enthusiastic and a pretty strong believer in the things that I do got going that I think have led to success in myself. So, like, daughter sounds like she's got anxiety going on, even though she doesn't have anything to be anxious about. So my solution to that is you got to work out. You can't just like walk around. Like, you've got to work out. Like, you've got to really expend energy. You've got to get yourself tired, because your body was not designed to sit around the house all day. Your body was designed to survive. If there's not some threat out there that you have to survive against, your brain will just invent it. So you've got to work out to convince them that you are doing what you have to like survive. So you got to do something that gets the heart rate up. It can't just walk. But when I say that, like, the reaction that I get from them is like, we don't believe you, Seth. Okay. Do what you want then. Or like social work, or in like social life. So like the thing was, there's a social event tomorrow, and she's like, I don't really want to go. And it's like, no, you're supposed to go and like talk to people and develop relationships with other members of the local community. That's the point of doing those sorts of things. But then they're like, well, you don't do that. And that's like, well, yeah, but I talk to people all day at work and my stream, and I do woodworking projects with my uncle, and I have my weightlifting team. Like, I kind of feel like I have my community, and I don't really have that problem, even though I don't like get out every day. Social events are a pain in the butt. We toil in our own little world. Yeah, but like, you have to have some sense of community. Like, without some sense of community, doesn't that just tend to lead to depression? Like, I don't know if they're like depressed, but I am kind of getting comments from them that kind of makes me think that like, you need to get out. Now they're saying things like that, and I'm like, well, fine. Then we're gonna have a Memorial Day party or something like that, right? To show them how it's done. I don't know, man. But to me, the thing that bothers me is that I think it really ultimately comes down to an abundance mindset. Like, okay, you want to be a millionaire? There's so much effing money out there. Like, when you consider how many people there are out there, okay, and they all have money. Yeah, the number of opportunities that there are out there for you to eventually become rich are insane. Or like, actually, you know what was really bothering me is I was like, well, you know, yeah, assuming if Asher starts talking and we don't have to take him to like a special school or something like that, then we should move to the mountains, or at least move somewhere where I can have like more room. Like, I can have like a space in the house specifically for the gym, and a space in the house specifically for like woodworking projects or like outside kind of stuff, right? More space, right? So maybe I go and I move to like the mountains, or maybe I even move to Park City, and they're like, no, we don't want to move to Park City. There's nothing there in Park City. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Like Park City is like a world-class ski resort. There's probably more things to do in Park City than there is where you live. They just don't see it. And I can see it. It's like, because you're afraid of losing what you currently have. It's like, yes, you have friends. You don't want to lose your friends, but you're not thinking with the abundance mindset. You're not thinking that there are hundreds of thousands of people out there that could potentially be your friends. And I bet you that one of them would be a better friend than the friends that you already got. Yes, Park City is wildly expensive. It's true. It's true. I don't think that I would actually move to Park City. Unless I was like, okay, so like, if we started a momentum fund and it really blew up and I was a billionaire, then maybe I'd move in Park City, right? That's kind of what I was talking about. I am seriously thinking about, though, like moving to one of these developing country areas. I would just need to find one that has internet. You fantasize and look there all the time? Oh. Like, I think about Eden. I heard that there's like a the new Starlink is pretty good. No, I think that some of these places have good internet. I think that if you're in Park City area, that you actually, you know, Kimball Junction, Park City area, that they have fiber. Don't they have Google Fiber in that area? I think they have Google Fiber in that area. Should show the satellite. But up here in the Mountain Green Eden area, where is it? Where's Eden? Eden. There we go. Eden. Apparently, there's like a new big subdivision that's going to go down over here, and the residents are fighting it. But I'm thinking, if they lose, might not be a bad place to go build. Might not be a bad place. But I don't know what their internet in that area are like. The houses that we were driving around in were over here. Yeah. We were in this area. Somewhere in here. This right here. Yeah. That's right. Some of these houses were insane. There was this one place right here. Huh. Okay, so Google Maps, last time Google Maps took a picture of it, it was still under construction. But there's this one house. Like, look at this road. Look at this freaking road. Like, it comes all the way down. And that's like that's all uphill, by the way. Okay. So this one house is like way further up the mountain than anything else. And it's a little crazy. Just a little bit crazy. Where's Kenny's house? I bet that view is... Yes, it was. Because from over here, you could see across over into the Salt Lake Valley Park. So the view was way sick. Because over here where I live over in Centralville. You get a view, but like it's mostly of desert dry bed, right? So now that the photos that they have of the Great Salt Lake are with it like at its lower points, it just looks so disgusting. Gross. When I was a kid, the water, you like, this right here is an island, this right here is an island. This thing all the way over here is one arm that was kind of more the freshwater recreational arm. Ugh, it's so disgusting what's happened to it. You know, this thing over here. So like when you come and you look at a map and of the world, and there's like this scar. You see it right there in your Kazakhstan. Like that used to be a lake just as almost as big as the Great Salt Lake, if not larger. And it is basically completely dried up because they cut off the tributaries to it, essentially. Gross. It makes me like, it feels gross to look at, think about. But I digress. Utah. Actually, you know where I really want to live, though? is over here. So here's Snow Basin. And here is Wasatch Peaks Ski Resorts. Yes. That's where I want. Go look at the reshot structure? Sure. I know where that is. I know what you're talking about. Is it? No, that's not that. It's somewhere over here. Somewhere over here in the desert. Oh, you know what? It must be like way further in than I realize. Oh, I just need to zoom out a little more. Oh, I was going for it. I was kind of close. I do find the idea that this is Atlantis somewhat compelling, but I kind of think that Atlantis is actually just was just a myth, or that it was someplace over in Greece. Rob Kaplan rejoins Goldman Sachs as vice chairman and member of the management committee. That's curious. That name sounds so familiar, and I don't remember who it is. Oh, you know, while I've been doing all of that, it looks like we've had 3 ticks up. It looks like that kind of correlates with the Japanese yen, and the Japanese yen just took a little bit of a hit, so. Wait, are they already doing the Apple event? Apple announces 13-inch iPad Air starting at $799 and goes on sale next week. Okay, so it's a thinner iPad? Cool. Because the iPads that we have already aren't thin enough. Yield on 10-year Treasury notes falls to near 3-week low. Last down 4.6 basis points at 4.4427. Yes, down in here. I could go for more. Kind of funny. You remember yesterday we were like up at 4.5. My gosh, Reddit. The average level of fear women exert towards men is over exaggerated. Listen, I'm not gonna argue this one like the actual issue. I'm just gonna say bears are very dangerous people. Okay, please don't go and approach bears. Bear will mess you up. I'm very concerned that somebody is going to get hurt by a bear because they have been misinformed by the internet. Okay, so let's just be very clear. Bears are very dangerous. Don't go anywhere near a bear. Even the kinds of like the little black bears that we have here in Utah. Not good. They're not good. Don't go near them. Grizzlies, you definitely don't get anywhere near grizzlies. Trump hints he's willing to violate gag order and go to jail. Hints. He like outright said, "I dare you to put me in jail." Kidding me? Okay. Rahul just found your. Oh wow, thank you. What? So YouTube recommended the stream to us, to you? Yes, we do. I haven't traded today. I missed this move. Does kind of look to me like it's going to continue moving up. I don't know if there's enough time here for me to really make a good trade. I'm kind of let's try it. Let's try it on the sim account here and just like a little scalp. Because it's kind of doing that thing it does when they're at highs. Oh, as soon as I do it, Octavius is out. That's funny. This could be where it reverses. I guess I'm not confident enough to take it on a live account because I'm still not really seeing that auto-correlated order flow long in CN. It's much too mixed. Got some stuff to do today. Nope. That's not what we wanted to see right there. This is like nothing's happening, and then 3,000 contracts sell at 05. And then they take 04 half. Okay, a little bit more mixed at 04 half, but that's not what we wanted to see. So I think that I will. Why is it going off? Oh, because it needs another order to go in there, I guess. There we go. I just had to cancel it and say, oh, it's a market order, and then it went. So I guess that wasn't a scratch. I guess that was the loss. Like if I'm gonna go for 2 ticks, take 2 tick loss. Yeah, that's fine. That's still, I do, when there's like those big spots of liquidity above and we're getting like good trend, it's really hard to not think that it's going to extend. I don't think that that's actually a very good signal that it will, but there's that big one down there, 26. What? This post on Reddit where a girl on Tinder says that she has a $250 talking stage deposit. If we get into a relationship, you get your deposit back. Okay. That might come back for me. So for some reason on the computer science career questions subreddit, I've been seeing a lot of posts that are like, what do you do as a backup? I think that the young people that are just graduating are having a very, very difficult time finding a job right now. So what is my backup if the computer science thing doesn't work out? Computer science. Computer science is the backup. Okay, what if there was like an EMP and all computers were destroyed? Or like, what if this was like Dune and we lived through, a robot uprising and then we beat the robots, and then from that point on we're not allowed to have any kind of thinking machines? Then what would I do? Then I'd be screwed, right? Then I'd probably be screwed. can go into finance, I guess. Well, still sitting there at 04. Nice, another iceberg. I dig that, though, is still like that there's counter flows, right? Like, I think that the buyer ultimately has a slight advantage, but there's enough of a counter flow that where you get in is kind of precarious. Tell you what, the internet awfully quiet this morning. Seems to me the internet's a little bit quiet this morning. Let's see here. Disney shares plunge most on year in subscriber miss. Disappointing guidance. Is this where they pull a Netflix and they say we're not going to tell you how many subscribers we have anymore? one thing. Why am I yawning? One thing I should point out, that you kind of pointed out earlier, and it's just kind of continued going, is there is a little bit of flattening today. There is a little bit of flattening today. So I'm not sure what that's about, but or if that's what's kind of driving this right now, but Year 2, you talked about Helldivers. Yeah. Well, we mentioned that yesterday. And then they made a special cape to commemorate Sony's capitulation. I'm sure that what it was the developers went to Sony and was like, this is not turning out. It's kind of funny because this isn't the first time that something like this has kind of happened, where like you have to have a secondary, third party account to play the game, and it's annoying. Like, a lot of games are like that now. But the thing with Helldivers too is that the developers have basically been training the community to work together. Like, they'll go and they'll put out some sort of goal that the community is supposed to meet in the game, and then people post all of these memes to get people hyped and encourage them to play and yada yada yada. And so the community has developed this kind of like network of communication. Reddit is probably one of the biggest hubs, but to get information out. So something that would normally have been pretty bad and maybe hurt the game a little bit ended up just being like the touch of death for the game, right? And so Sony capitulated pretty easily. It was a interesting thing. I'm telling you what, this Helldivers game is special. It's not like the gameplay itself is that revolutionary or anything like that, but the developer has just done something that is quite unique in the industry, and you're probably going to see a lot more companies trying to copy their way of doing things. They've worked with the community much better. They've like, their approach is very different. It's not, I need to please everybody. No, this is the kind of a game that we're trying to make. We're not going to compromise that for to increase the audience or whatever. Maybe it will slightly get the message across to how Sony's reputation has been worsening. Well, the fact that they had some data breaches, I think, was a pretty key part of it for sure. I do kind of wonder where the next generation of consoles are going, because you're definitely gonna get a Nintendo one, but the Sony and Xbox this last generation, I don't think either of them really did that well. I don't think that either of them really have games that are like killer games yet. And my recollection is that Microsoft said that they're getting out of that game. So now it's just Sony and Nintendo. I kind of wonder if at some point Sony kind of abandons it too, and then it's just Nintendo's. And Nintendo's continue to be kind of weak. Meanwhile, the sorts of things for like just having a full PC that connects to your TV will get better and better. And maybe it will just turn into, there's a lot of PC games that are designed to play with controllers and on televisions. Could go that way. That's just like this year, at least, that kind of feels like the direction it's going. But we'll see. Maybe the next PlayStation is just an absolutely massive hit, and maybe because Nintendo is making one, maybe Sony will try and compete directly with that or something like that. Okay, well, let's see here. When I bailed out of that last trade, it was at 5.5. So they're back there again. I'm a little bit weird. Well, I don't like that big order there, 05. That seems a little suspicious to me. Except for that, it may be enough to push them to a new high. Like, that order may just be there to try and coax them into busting the highs. Well, it held when 6 orders went off at 05. Maybe I can catch the edge. Okay, that wasn't terrible. It's kind of doing a little bit of the liquidity whole thing now, though. And though I don't think that it should have any problem. Like, if there's a buyer out there and they want to buy it, they're probably going to have to push into new highs to get it. So, get their liquidity. There's definitely liquidity up there. You think it's a spread trade with the twos? Could be. I mean, the yield curve is shifting here. Apple iPad Pro with M4 chip starts at $999. Oi. A pencil comes with a pencil. Israel, if there's no progress in Cairo talks, we will move to second phase of Rafah operation. So basically, they moved the goalposts. Like, they wanted to do the full Rafah operation. They said, no, we're just going to do a minor incursion and then back off. Okay. 5 years lagging a little bit here. Okay, so it's thickening up there at 05 half. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. A few stops there at 6 half. They immediately traded it. And it's thickening up at 06 too. Was a percentage return on your edge? Oh, I don't know. Kind of depends on. So how well I trade has a lot to do with how effectively we understand that particular market, like what's going on. So, here today, I took 2 trades. What we just got there canceled out what we lost on the first trade. And the first trade wasn't actually too bad. Like if I had been willing to hold a little bit wider of a stop, it definitely would have been okay, right? So, if I was just using the DOM and looking at it, I think that there's a slight edge in that, but that the like the data fees and everything kind of cancel it out. Okay, auction market theory. I have a video on my channel. It's like 2 or 3 videos back called volume profile. You'll see it. I forget the exact name, but I talk about auction theory. It's a decent theory, but it is a theory that is ultimately proven incorrect. We have a better understanding of the market now, so it's very useful to get that greater understanding and understand where auction theory is kind of incorrect about things. By the way, this move right here is a third leg. We got 3 legs today, basically. So that's a little surprising to me. We've traded 7,000 contracts at 06.5. Like I said, there is liquidity up here. Guess we find out how many contracts these guys need to actually buy. Is that the chalkboard from the church? Yeah, behind me. Did I actually use it in a video? I don't remember. I kind of got it. So there was one video that we never really made that I guess we should make, but part of it was I wanted to draw it on the chalkboard about obtaining trading nirvana. Yes. Because I just don't use it as much as I thought I would for videos and stuff. I sure do love it though. I don't necessarily like that it takes up the whole wall. I wish that it was like on a cart that I could move around or something like that, you know? That kind of makes me think if I go on to like the used ads, because it's used to go on there every day to look for chalkboards, and maybe I will come across one that, you can roll around. Nope. Oh wait, there is. Oh my gosh. I should get it. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside. Maybe I'll go and get the freestanding one. That freestanding one might take up a bit of space in this room. I may regret. But may just keep it in the garage at first. Oh, that's actually a great idea. Because what if I put it in the garage and then Asher and Ethan want to go and do it in the garage? So for that, then they got chalk and that they're going to draw all over something in the garage. And then that will be like really hard to find. You would think, oh, chalk, you get chalk everywhere, no big deal, but it can actually be a real pain to clean up sometimes. So they're just sitting here at 06.5, but I still kind of see the pressure. Like there's a clear imbalance that towards buying. You're not seeing it like in the cumulative delta, but like the bids are thicker, especially right up here close. And the liquidity has been increasing as we're moving up. So what is happening on the micro yields when current price is sparse? So, like in the 2-year here, so the way that this works is there is actually an index. There's actually an index that this is trading against, and there are 3 times a day that it settles, where essentially the price on the future settles with the price on the index. Okay. So that index is based on what's happening on BrokerTech. BrokerTech is an exchange owned by the CME that is for trading treasuries. Okay. So if you go onto BrokerTech and you look at their DOMs and everything, you'll see, you know, based on price, you know, here's the best bid and here's the best offer. And you can directly convert those numbers into yields. And when you convert those into yields, what you'll find is that spread is actually a full basis point, which is 10 ticks here in the micro treasuries. So basically, the robots, the most basic robots at least, are using the BrokerTech bids and offers to determine what their bid and offer should use. Okay. And ergo, they're not willing to give a better bid or offer that is a spread that is smaller than that 1 basis point. Now, in the 10-year treasury, there's enough activity and so forth that there are robots and so forth that are willing to step up there. And usually there is a little bit of a gap there, which I kind of find curious given how much liquidity is over here in the full 10-year. But so it's just a reflection of what the market makers are doing. You know, if this had happened yesterday, I would have been much more prone to trade it. Today, I feel like the flows are so dead. I'm surprised, though. I don't have that correct one open up anymore. But the flows are so close that I just couldn't have seen myself taking a trade beforehand, at least. Like when it started out and that trend started, I don't think there's any way I would have caught that. These chalkboards that I found on KSL, these are church ones too. Except for that these ones are green instead of brown. Should go get them. Should go get one. For $90. Sure. Sure, why not? How would I pick it up, though? That's actually a problem. Maybe it would fit in the truck. Yeah, I'd have to use the truck. Okay, well. Well, let's see here. Zero Hedge has a story about Israeli ground forces enter Rafah. Overnight, it's been confirmed that Israeli ground forces have begun moving into Rafah, with IDF tanks having seized Gaza's vital Rafah border crossing in the last hours. The IDF plans to monitor all aid going into the Gaza Strip, but international aid organizations warn this could be a death sentence for a population already teetering on the brink of full-blown famine. But all they're going to do is monitor it. What? You're afraid that they're going to find all of the weapons you're smuggling into, huh? In a Monday phone call, Biden had warned Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu against launching a ground attack on Rafah, but the Israeli leader once again brushed off U.S. red lines, as well as the warnings of other international allies like France. The U.S. State Department has said, "We continue to believe that a hostage deal is in the best interest of Israel and the Palestinian people. It would bring immediate ceasefire and allow humanitarian assistance into Gaza." An anonymous Israel official has claimed to local media that this is a limited operation and that at this point the offensive is being used as leverage by Tel Aviv. It is being implemented to pressure Hamas to accept a deal. Israel's claimed that Rafah crossing. Do you really think that Hamas is that pressured right now? Because if Hamas is that pressured and the Biden administration is kind of like relieving pressure on them, that's kind of like a big deal, you know what I mean? Egypt now feels that 250,000 people could quickly pour across the border and into the Sinai. Already, Reuters has reported at least 23 people killed, including 6 women and 5 children, according to local hospitals. Okay. What if we just... Well, no, it won't work that way. But sometimes I kind of wonder, like, what if Gaza didn't have the Egypt border there? Right? Would they just expand over the Sinai? Kind of weird to think about. Yeah. $28,000 contracts at 06 half, huh? Well, it's time for me to get going. So I was kind of hoping that they would push through that 08 and I could get a little bit more than that. But it looks like that the offers are pretty thick. S&P 500 taken off these last 15 minutes. They're looking real nice. The treasuries are kind of off on their own. The Japanese yen has been falling, and but the treasuries continue to float up here. So I'm gonna try and get my execution here. It looks like, well, man, if I don't get filled on that, that's gonna be awfully disappointing. I'm 1,200 in line, and they've traded 42.56. So this is a case where if it was live, it may have actually have gotten filled. Actually, so we got like what, 2 minutes, so I'll wait a little bit. Oh, that's disappointing. Down tick. Okay, well, I will scratch it. Because I gotta go. Guys, I will see you tomorrow. I'm a little disappointed in today. Today was a lot quieter than I thought it would be. Tomorrow, 10-year auction may be better, but like there should be room for the markets to move. I guess the S&P 500 is doing great in this environment. So, all right, stay excellent, team.